All right, Shalom. I want to start by giving all praise and glory to you, Abba Shema Shai, by Shem Dash. Double honor to the apostle of the great millstone. Shalom to I came out there pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. Yeah, I was just watching this video with Apostle Gabar. You know, he recorded some days ago in regards to bodily exercise profiteth little, but it does profit. You know, and we know that scriptures within the New Testament, the Apostle Paul wrote, you know, and the apostle was just expounding upon the importance of our health. You know, the root word of health that goes into healing, you know, and just echoing the same sentiment. You know, apostles always say it best, you know, and I just speak about that as I could attest, you know, as a testament, you know, of just prioritizing health, trying to stay away from alcohol, that excessive excessive lifestyle habits that really break you down, you know, over time, you know, and the best way to counteract it is getting more in tune with your health, you know, hitting the gym. You know, within the gym, it's his own world in itself. You know, maintaining your muscle composition, rebuilding your muscles, you know, your joints, your ligaments, you know, your system itself, you know, and the gym, I could say, is one of the most important things that you could do as far as your health goals. You know, on top of taking the herbs, the necessary vitamins, the necessary minerals, you know, for your body to absorb, you know, and have a more optimal, to be in more optimal health. You know, the sun, being in the sun, like myself, I just purchased an at-home sauna, and what I can recommend for a lot of brothers to do is go on these cheap sites like Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes individuals give a lot of exercise equipment away. You know, I caught a good deal on this sauna. It was like 140, 150. I just used it today. Retail price, I think, is like 130, 140. You know, and it just fits in the corner of my bedroom. And I only got it for like $20. You know, it works very well. It's not as good as the I think in the gyms they'll have the infrared, not the infrared, but they'll have it's a different type of sauna. There's different types. You got the laser, infrared saunas. You got the I think steam saunas. There's different types of saunas. This isn't the best, but it gets the job done. You know, and that's what we're aiming for. You know, we don't have the top tier $10,000 equipment. You know, but when you utilize a lot of this exercise equipment and you're consistent, it works wonders. You know, it works wonders on your health, your mental health, purging and detoxing. You know, the system is essential. You know, and I'm seeing certain comments. Eating gut-friendly foods. Make sure we stay hydrated with plenty of spring water. Combined with exercise will keep us healthy and strong. Shalom. Yeah, that's true indeed. Also, was really good is you can find a well. There's a well that's like 10 minutes from me. You know, you got all the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, certifications, everything for them to see us all verified, and it's cheap. You know, so I'll have my BPA free water bottles, and I'll fill up, and then I'll take it home and I'll put it in a big jar. You know, and then I might bottle it, which I got to get better with my meal prepping and things of that nature. But bottling it, so I'm on the go with clean water. I don't have to go to the gas station and get the plastic. You know, those microplastics are detrimental to your health over time. But I don't have to deal with that plastic because of the style and fashion packaging my own water from the well. And I just say that for brothers. You could find you a spring. Because a lot of this stuff is really deceptive, even with this water thing. I talked to a brother walking towards the camp about how water can be one of the most trickiest things in this truth, when you wake up to the truth of things and trying to select the best water, best quality water, to consume, staying away from that dead water, because majority of your body is water. So having your body in a optimal state, you need an adequate amount of water. And one thing about it, like myself, I noticed that I drink significantly more water when I exercise, of course, because you putting your body under a lot of stress. You're gonna need to stay hydrated quick. And sometimes I may neglect my water intake. Just being honest, sometimes I'll be a little neglectful. It is immature of me, I know. It's not that I don't drink water, and I'm replacing it with diet soda. It's just without exercise, sometimes you'll drink water, but you might not drink an adequate amount of water. I think they say gallon a day, and as well as hitting your protein goals, high levels of protein. One thing I'm going to start doing is either boiling half a carton of eggs and just eating eggs throughout the day to reach my protein goals, as well as chicken. You have the high end luxury list of protein that you should intake, but eggs is extremely important. So I try to, especially for your testosterone, but not just eating like 2 eggs, but I try to eat like 4 a day, 3 a day, just to get more on point with my protein goals. You know what I'm saying? And seeing how that affects me over time. And eggs really, to me, it spikes my T levels pretty fast. Even eating, just a moderate amount of eggs. So I'm like, I should just try to eat more. Try to eat at least 3 or 4 a day. Just boil eggs, and just see how my body reacts. And that's another thing too. Brothers got to know what works for them, particularly. Some brothers are more sensitive to XYZ. Some people need heavier intake. Some brothers are, what they have, endomorphs, ectomorphs. You got different body types. Some brothers are, what they have, even with exercise, they call hyper responders. Where you might do a general amount of exercise and you just put on muscle mass very, very fast. And a lot of times, certain brothers that do that too, they take care of themselves very well. Like I said, one thing that steals your gains in the gym is alcohol. Alcohol is one of the major contributors. Lack of sleep. Certain things that you intake that's counterproductive to your system. And that's why the scriptures speak about wine in moderation. Some brothers be, you might drink more than you're supposed to. So you need a better hobby. You need a better lifestyle habit. Like me, I only drink for the most part when I'm around the bros. I try to stay away from that alcohol. You'll see certain people in your family that was abusing, alcohol abuse. You see how alcohol abuse is runs heavily within the Black and Latino community because of depression. And there's ways that you alleviate your depression. And alcohol is in the way. Now you could get your drink on. I'm not the type to speak against it. Not like I don't drink myself, but to be honest, I'm not really that infatuated with alcohol like I used to be. My early 20s. I'm starting to get in my mid 30s. I drunk the alcohol that I could drink. It's really, to me, it's just kind of like it's a time and place. I don't have to drink alcohol to get in a level-headed space. I'm really better without it. I have, with us brothers, we're very active. We do a lot of stuff. And like I said, really to me, alcohol is really counterproductive. I'm really not a big fan of just, neither do I push that energy, just drinking, take another shot. We might play amongst ourselves. But for the most part, I really, like I tell brothers, I tell them this at home when, for certain brothers that just live a sober life, I encourage that above all. If you're a brother you already, prior to the truth, you really wasn't big on alcohol and things of that nature, I'm not the type to bait you into drinking. Oh, bro, this brother don't drink. This brother don't drink. Fuck that drink. Now we might drink through certain feast days and stuff, but overall, man, like I said, how detrimental this alcohol and this strong drink is for, Scripture says, give strong drink unto him that's ready to perish. That's a form of an exception. That's a under the condition. And like I said, I know we all drink, but to get in the best, we want to be at our best. We are, all of us brothers here at Great Millstone, we always pushing that S tier. Trying to be in the S tier yourself. You're not trying to be a B tier version of yourself or a D tier. You want to see yourself at that S tier, man. And like I said, the number one way, one of the top 5 ways is on that list is exercising, lifting moderate, lifting heavy. If you're an older individual, you might not be as stronger than somebody that's in their, younger age, because they might have more vitality. But getting your cardio on, getting your incline walk, Stairmasters. Everybody hates the Stairmaster. I hate the Stairmaster. I do not be on that Stairmaster, but I'm just giving a list of things that's super good for you. And the Stairmaster is one of those things, getting your body more acclimated to good stress. Because exercise is a form of good stress. You got bad stress and you got good stress, and we carry these bodies. We got to live in these bodies, You got to, in that day, you might have to face challenging situations that require strength, physical strength. Oh yeah, brother, that's being carnal. You got certain jakes that think like that. That's not necessarily carnal. It's actually spiritual, because the scriptures speak about being in optimal health. Even David. David was known, to be a high vital man. Now we know the ultimate way to be strengthened in the spirit is by being in tune with Yahweh Shema Shai. But there's things that you have to do in the flesh for maintenance purposes. Your greens, chlorophyll, which I got to get my hands on too. Chlorophyll capsules. You got chlorophyll gummies. If you ain't, that's for the individuals that don't want to take it. Or if you just live a life on the go. Like I said, you got to know what works best for you. Eat herbs on the go. You got gummies that you could take on the go. Certain stuff that you take for your gut health. If you have certain problems with your back, exercise, diet, lifting, Sometimes even if you're having certain bodily problems, it's good to just lift. Put it under, like I said, some good stress so that you can rebuild the ligaments and things of that nature. If I feel a little pain in a certain region, I'll, might rest, or I'll get my circulation, I'll stretch it, get a massage gun, then I'll try to lift. I might not lift heavy, but just put a little stress under that same, and then usually it'll work, So these things have been tried and tested from us brothers. And then, I'm not a guru or, things of that nature. In the spirit, we really do but we got it, man. It's not like it's our hypothesis or our theory. Nah, we got it. Telling you through the spirit, we're telling you, because this is motivated by Apostle Gabar, we're telling you from things that we've experienced and tried out. which the word experience goes into trying out. So this is Ecclesiastes 1:18. The fear of the Lord is a crown of wisdom, making peace and perfect health to flourish, both which are the gifts of the Most High, and it enlargeth their rejoicing that love him. Yep, so health, perfect health. Sirach 17:26. Turn again to the Most High and turn away from iniquity, for he will lead thee out of darkness into the light of health, and hate thou abomination vehemently. Sirach 30:15. Health, this is a really good one. Health and a good state of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. Yeah, so, that should be coined within our lifestyle is, you got gold within. What's more valuable than gold is good health, optimal health. So heal, name of the game is to heal, get better, stronger, more inclined, purging away these demons, whether it's parasites or bad bacteria or heavy metals, detoxing, getting these demons up out of us so that we can be a good lump in the eyes of the Lord, So I just want to speak in regards to that. Hopefully brothers and a few sisters was edified. Anybody give it all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Shema Shai by Shem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostle of the great millstone. Shalom, Akim.